What is this? Holy shit. Holy shit. Beta version of pathofexile.com/trade. Oh my god. They finally... Is this April Fool's? I don't know if it is. We've also augmented our online API to take into account AFK players and those in DND. This functionality is available for all trade sites that have consumed this API and should help make trade results more accurate for everyone. Holy fuck, I am so happy. Read the rest of this news post for information on pathofexile.com. I'm going to click here to read our trade manifesto if you want to read our philosophy about trading. Can I see the fucking website? Does it work? Oh my god. This is so hard to use. What am I looking at? Okay, oh god. I mean, this is cool. That's not. There needs to be a search function. Here it is. Oh, it's gone. Okay. This fucking site sucks. It's just pathofexile.com/trade. Alright, let's try this again. I'm gonna go to... What do I want to buy? I want to buy a dagger with... a rare dagger. God, this is like so different from PoE trade, which was probably intentional. So what do we want to search for? I want to search for crit for spells. Spells. Wow. Wow. Amazing. Wow. Okay, it's still there. Can I do total? How the fuck do you do this? How do you do pseudo crit for spells? Persuado. There it is. At least 100. Attack speed. Local or dude, I don't. What's the difference between these? Fuck if I know. Okay. Let's do 20% attack speed. And we want spell damage. At least 50. Where do I... Okay, League. I need to select Standard, Online only. Go. No results found. Really? What if I do offline? Does this not actually work? Is this just like a potential? No results found. Okay, that's not right. This should exist, I'm pretty sure. Try it on poe.trade. Spell damage. Okay, so I don't think this site actually works yet, because I did the exact same thing. And poe.trade has a lot of them. Okay, that's not good. Let me read this. I'm working on it for a year now with the goal of creating a slick, fast experience that supports many of the features of the other community trade sites. Well, okay. Search through item listings from the API as well as forum threads, extensive set of filters, automatic support for new mods and unique items as they are found in leagues. That's actually pretty important because it takes poe.trade a little bit to get all those new stuff on there. Live searches that notify you of matching items as they're listed. That's same, sure. A trade-specific blacklist to hide item listings from abusive players. Can we like add them to our own personal blacklist? Because that'd be chill. Available in all the languages. Goal of the site isn't to change how trading works, but to provide more options for our players. Doesn't matter which site you use, but it does matter that there's always one available and in your language. We also hope that additional features we add over time help reduce certain frustrations related to trade. AFK changes like, or API changes like AFK and DND information will of course be available for external trade sites to use. Over the last few weeks we invited some prominent community members to test the site. We've incorporated most of their feedback into the version you see today. It's still beta. The beta doesn't fucking work. Alright, I'm gonna change this to the other attack speed roll. Let's try local. I don't think it works yet. Pseudo crit for spells, pseudo spell damage. What if I just get rid of one of these? Okay. That looks really cool, actually. Like, the way it shows the stats, actually, is kind of nice. It doesn't show the tiers. DPS, PDPS, LEDPS. Alright. And why did that... How do I get back to my search results? Let's try adding spell damage. Pseudo. Explicit spell damage. Okay, that works. Then why can't I add attack speed? I have to do pseudo. No results found. There's so many different versions of attack speed, I don't know which one it is. We tried local, right? Okay, now it works. Got it. It's different results though. 100 crit, 20 attack, 50 spell. Online only, offline. Oh wait, let's check offline standard. I did any. See if it's the same. 44. I didn't pick up this one. It's like... I mean, it's trying. Wait, okay, what does ignore player do? Okay, also, is this for your account? Like, does it link every of your searches to your account? Show my status. It does. Leagues. Track online status for live search. Yes. No. Ah! Okay. Yeah, so you have your own personal ignore list. That's actually really nice. Let's read this. The website allows you to search through items listed for sale in shop forums, as well as those listed in public. Yeah, we already read that. Search by item's name or the base. Players will have their online offline status updated every minute. That's pretty good. Searching is easy. You still have to contact the player selling the item in order to complete the trade. They provide the copy pasta message, and it's translated into the seller's local language. That's actually pretty cool. If there's any reason you no longer wish to view a certain player's listings, you can use the Ignore Player button to remove their listings from your search results. That's probably permanent. This feature requires you to be logged in, not tied to your in-game Ignore list in any way, and may be managed in the settings panel right here on the trade site. That's awesome, because the in-game Ignore list has a limit of like 100 players or something stupid, so like mine gets full every 2 leagues or so, sometimes even every league, and I just have to like clear the entire thing and start over. But this is permanent, and not capped, hopefully, which is nice. While you perform a live search, blah 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 blah. You will also opt in to include items from players who have recently logged in. That's pretty good because poe.trade, I think, does not do that. It doesn't show items that are like logging in. It only shows items that are listed. The search only runs where you keep your browser or tab open. Browser tab or window open in the background's okay. It will automatically stop if there's no user activity after 2 hours. Wait. What's user activity? Like, my activity? You don't want... what? This is not cool. The search shouldn't stop unless you, like, close the tab. Alright, well, logged into the site, you may also choose how your in-game status is used. By default, your status will show for items you have listed in the league that you are currently playing in. You may opt to show your status regardless of what league you are playing if you so choose. This is actually a pretty important little note right here. You have to... make sure that if you play more than one league that you have it checked to show any league, otherwise it's not gonna work. Please note, players using DND in-game will be treated as offline for the purposes of this site. Awesome! Certain items may be listed for bulk sale, listed below. In order to list currencies, blah blah blah, sure. Please note, stocks are updated every 5 minutes. Include all the items of the type that are publicly listed, priced or not. Wow. Okay. I mean, it seems like it's going to be really cool if they can fine-tune this page specifically to, like, you know, work better. I'm really happy that they made an actual one because, like, it's been a problem for a long time that there isn't an official trade website, but now that there's a PoE pathofexile.com/trade, like, that means they could potentially implement this system into the game itself, so you could, like, be in your hideout and search for stuff, and, like, not have to go into a different thing. Yeah, this is an official thing. They just posted the news thing on it. That's pretty cool. I like how they had to link the trade manifesto twice, though, so people actually read it. It just needs to be smoothed out a little bit. This was posted today as well. I should read this. Today's news post describes some minor changes to the Trade Online API we have made and mentions the beta launch of an official trade site. Blah blah blah. It's for players who are interested in hearing more about our philosophy and reasoning behind trade and the direction of these changes. Items matter, trade is important. When first developed PoE in 2006, we identified several key design pillars. These are fundamental philosophies chosen to guide our design decisions throughout development. One of these is that items matter. Items are a player's reward for playing Path of Exile. They're the primary way of measuring progress in a league. A player with vastly more in-game wealth has often played longer than someone with a higher level character. They also matter because if a player had better items, they'd be able to build more powerful characters, play harder content, be viewed as richer and more successful within the game. The acquisition of items is why people play action RPGs. Correct. Chances are, if you're reading this, you understand why it's important that items matter, because your PoE items mean a lot to you as well. Bex understands me. This is Chris, actually. Chris understands me. Alright, for items to matter, it's important that they can be traded to other players. It's important that you can give the item to the target player if they're able to convince you into it. For this reason, almost nothing in Path of Exile is bound to your account. Even in SSF, which doesn't allow trading, items can be moved at will into the regular trading league so you can benefit from their value if desired. Yeah. I really like the fact that PoE doesn't have account-bound stuff. That's so fucking annoying in other games. Stop. What is happening? Hang on, I'm getting trade spammed. Consequences of easy trades. So given we love trade and feel it's critical to PoE's formula, why is there so much debate around trade in the game? Most of the time is whether a trade should be easy or not. Whether easy trade sounds great on paper, here's some important consideration. Easy trades reduces the amount of times that a character improves their items. True. People who are heavily engaged in trade perform fewer item upgrades to achieve their final build. They get there in fewer steps because they can easily buy items that are close to what they need. Simply put, their character progression is more about trading than it is about getting items from monsters. We believe it is more fun to slowly and iteratively upgrade a character over time and have a longer journey to gear a character up. That's actually the reason why I play solo self-found lately, because like the journey to get your perfect gear is way more fun because you can't skip ahead. Like you have to just sit there and upgrade your stuff one at a time by self-finding all the gear, which is pretty cool. And it does encourage you to kill stuff for sure. Easy trade means reducing drop rates. Compare two hypothetical games. In the first game, trade is very difficult. The majority of items that can't be used by your character are not traded to other people. In the second game, trade is very easy. Many of the items you can't use are traded to other people for items that you can. In the second game, because of trade, you have a much higher acquisition rate of useful items. Well, that sounds great if you want instant gratification. In reality, it just means that the second game either receives reduced drop rates relative to the first, or ends up being a whole lot easier and less challenging to achieve goals in. PoE itself is kind of in between this at the moment. I'm like waiting for this guy to join my hideout, but he's not coming, so fuck off. Easy trade will make disparity between different players too great. Most of the above points are even worse when you consider that the level of engagement with trade varies substantially from player to player. Most players who play Path of Exile never trade. That's coming from Chris. That's a pretty huge statement to make. I wonder what he considers most to be, if it's like 60% or like 90%. Out of the players who do trade, most only complete a few trades in a league. Wow. That's kind of funny. The subset of players who regularly trade strongly overlaps with our core Reddit and forum communities. So Reddit, you whiny bastards, this is for you. Chances are, if you're reading this, then you're one of the top 10% of players engaging with advanced systems. The difference in magnitude of trading and hence item acquisition and progress between non-low traders and heavy traders is gigantic. While a regular player would be lucky to accumulate a small handful of exalted orbs in a league, I always say this, regular players get like 5x maybe. A trader might reach hundreds in the same time frame, or thousands, or tens of thousands. This enables them to fully gear shaper characters, while the non-trader is still in mid-tier maps or lower. Yep. Most players, like I've said this myself, I feel like most players don't get out of like Acts 10. They don't finish Acts 1 through 10, much less get into endgame maps. But It's a little bit different if you trade. The significant differences in character power and player progression caused by trade has already created a situation where PoE is very hard for some players and quite easy for others. Some people never stand a chance of seeing some of the Atlas of Worlds content, while others can rather quickly defeat it and are looking for new challenges. We're tentatively okay with the degree to which this occurs currently, but would be much worse if trading were made substantially easier. Yeah, it would be. If you automate, like, if I could automate my currency trading on PoE Trade, I would just be generating currency all the time without being logged in, and like I would log into hundreds of exalts and just mess around and craft ridiculous items and have like perfect gear in every slot, and it wouldn't be like, I wouldn't even play the game, to be honest. I would just be sitting AFK making currency, and then when I wanted to waste currency, I'd log in and do it, but I don't need to do that if it's totally automated. Easy trade allows for greater abuse by automation. Automation? I don't know how to say this. Another topic is that while we work hard to stamp out bots and abusive behavior, it would be hard to completely eliminate the damage caused by a few trade bots with access to a fast trade system. If they have the ability to search out and buy items without having to talk to another player, there would be some very large-scale economic consequences that would not be good for regular players. True. I just kind of mentioned that, but yeah. Same stuff. Trade in PoE. From the start, we knew that PoE needed the ability to trade items, and we had to be careful not to make it too easy. We had seen what happened in other action RPGs. D3, cough. We added trade chat and a secure player-to-player trade screen so the player could negotiate transactions and complete them without counterparty risk. Sure. With insufficient foresight into how it eventually affect trade, we also added the ability to link items on the official forums. Linking items is a way of showing other players that you actually own an item, because the system automatically checks that you still have the item in that forum and marks it as verified. The system was intended so that players could show off their awesome finds to other players, in a similar way to the in-game item linking system. Because items don't matter, it is important that we provided many ways to prove ownership of items. We even intended to allow players to tweet their items from within the game, even though we never got around to implementing that. That would actually be kind of cool. If you could like tweet a good drop. It's a weird integration, but I mean, I would do it occasionally. When I finished a mirror item, I'd like to tweet that, dude. What the fuck? Sure. Before long, people used item linking to set up shops within the trade forums. This was expected because the goal of item linking was to prove ownership of items, so that people could know that you still have the item before they make you an offer. These shops became complicated. People made tools that let users manage their shops to post them efficiently. So far, so good. Then came the forum scraping bots. Smart community members worked out that they could automatically crawl the forum and insert all the items into a database, creating an instantly and accurately searchable index of all items for trade in PoE. There was nothing we could do about this because it was almost impossible to stop players gathering information from a public website. A trade ecosystem involved, where players would search for items on trade websites to quickly find what they needed, but they would have to manually contact the user in-game to perform the trade. While this was a lot quicker than before, we grew to accept it, but were worried about one aspect in particular. To create trade forum threads easily, users would download third-party programs and enter their account details, or at least web session IDs. While these tools and their authors never took advantage of this in a legal way, it was also a potentially dangerous situation for our users, so we really needed an official solution. Yeah, that was like, I used to use acquisition and procurement, and it had to like sign into my account to use it. And that was weird. We made it so premium stash tabs can expose their contents to trade sites on a public API. So that's where we are today. It's easy to list items for trade, easy to search for items, it's often quite frustrating to complete a trade. The remaining frustration is the only thing standing in the way of trades being basically instant. While we understand that this sounds like a positive thing, we are very concerned regarding what will happen if that does eventuate. We have to prioritize the long-term health of PoE. Okay, that's fine. It's totally understandable. If everything becomes instant gratification in this game, like the grind, the time that you spend, is just, it feels like it's nothing, because you're just going to grind for some currency, or to make currency you're going to flip, and then like you just buy what you need and you're done. You complete like 3 maps and you're like bored of the game. I like everything they're saying. The trade market, the version of PoE published by Tencent in mainland China that uses the trade market rather than a system exposing items, blah blah blah. The system is also in use on the Xbox One version. As you can imagine, web page searches and textual trade conversations aren't well suited to the controller input of a console. Yeah, you're right. On the trade market, we're experimenting with the opposite end of the trade spectrum, where it's very easy to complete trades, but more difficult to find the exact item you're looking for. You can search broadly by a specific item or class or type, but you have to look through a lot of search results to find the one you want to make an offer on. This system intentionally makes the search process harder and the trade process easier for a different trade experience. We are not planning to bring it to the international PC version of PoE. That sounds so dumb. You're like, alright, I want to go find a crit multi-amulet, but you can only search for amulets. So you just have to like scroll through pages and pages and pages of uniques, or of items, to find what you want. That would be so frustrating. Like, I would trade on the Xbox if that's the system. Fuck that. The role of solo self-found mode. I actually just released a video about solo self-found that's probably going to echo exactly what this says. Players who don't engage in trade are at a significant progression disadvantage in PoE. However, some players are happy for the game to take longer to complete and enjoy the challenge that comes from living off the land. Historically, these players could choose to play alone, but they would receive no recognition and had no way of proving that they had done so. Anyone could accuse them of having traded, invalidating their accomplishments. We officially added support for SSF in 2.6 Breach League. This mode allows players to create characters that can't trade or party up. They have separate ladders to show how long they lasted before converting. It's important to know that in this mode they can be, yeah, you can opt out, whatever. You don't get anything in SSF for it though. While this mode eases the situation for players who purposely never engage in trade, it was not intended as a precursor to us making trade massively easier in the regular game. Okay, that's fine. As mentioning in today's post, we are changing the online API to expose the AFK status of players. This is so good. Like, there's so many AFK price fixers who are on either DND mode or just actually AFK. So it's just going to allow all of those people to disappear from PoE trade, which is going to be amazing. The API shows that to community trade sites, so it's easy for them to add functionality, allow users to filter searches to just online traders. Great. Players in D&D are no longer shown as online because it would be impossible for them to receive any messages. Yep. We've also launched an experimental version, which we've already kind of looked through. It's just an alternative to community sites. I mean, I'm going to try to use this. Like, I'm going to try to learn this. But I have a feeling that for a long time, it's just going to be, like, this. I'm going to use PoE Trade still. But I don't think this site's going to be, like, specifically used for me. It just looks weird. Like, the order is way different than what I'm used to, which I'm going to have to figure out. But I will try to start using this a little bit more. Like, let's see. Let's try to buy Eternal Orbs. You can buy one Eternal for 1 mirror. Or 1 Eternal for 2 mirrors. This guy's selling for 20x. He's offline. I don't think... Okay, I need to check online only for this one. Yeah, so 90x, 100x. That's more realistic. But this guy's AFK. So it shows the AFKs, which is really nice already. I want to see PoE Trade to implement the new AFK thing. If PoE Trade implements that, I'm probably still going to use PoE Trade over this thing. It's just not as aesthetically pleasing. It's not what I'm used to. It has all the same stuff, but it's in a different order. I'm effectively going to have to relearn the entire fucking thing. But other than that, I mean, I'm pretty happy with all of this stuff. Yeah, I don't care about this website, actually. I'm going to echo that first forum response. Thanks for the AFK and for the website, which feels less important. Yeah, I don't care about this much. The AFK trigger and the D&D trigger, though, that's awesome. The rest of it, whatever.